Yeah, I've been high and low, I've been sober, I've been faded. Searching for my love in all the wrong places. Word up on the streets is I got a bad reputation. Yeah, I may have true blood, but that was true love. Got a stroke of bad luck everywhere I look. Every time I go right, everything goes wrong. And I self-destruct when I'm close to love. So someone save my soul, because all my life I've fucked up and I can't deny. I'm doing my best to get it together. I told you once, I told you a million times. I just can't live like this forever. Yeah, I've been up and down, I've been through hell and back. I've had my share of drama, baby, please cut me some slack. I know you wanna get through to me, but I am my worst enemy. I may have true blood, but that was true love. Got a stroke of bad luck everywhere I look. Every time I go right, everything goes wrong. And I self-destruct when I'm close to love. Better buckle down, giddy up, here we go. Because all my life I've fucked up and I can't deny. I'm doing my best to get it together. I told you once, I told you a million times. I just can't live like this forever. Go! Fucked up and I can't deny. I'm doing my best to get it together. I told you once, I told you a million times. I just can't live like this forever. I can't live like this forever.
And now, Mike's thoughts. Roger Goodell has officially said that he would like to have an 18-game season. He would like to have a 18-game season. He said, and I quote, "I would have an 18-game season over anything over a preseason game." So with that being said, I got to thinking here. Do we really want a 18-game NFL season? Hell, to be honest, I really don't like 17-game NFL season. Yes, it is more football. It's more bad football, but it is more football. And if you add an 18th game season, you have to have a second bye week. So yes, then it will be a 20-week regular NFL season. But let's just think about this. Many of the old heads, my dad, a Detroit Lions fan, which we'll talk about the Detroit Lions today, said a lot of these records are being broken because of the extra games. From 14 to 16 to now 17. He was speaking of mainly of Calvin Johnson's receiving record. Right? What was it? 1,900 yards or whatever it is. He was speaking that Tyreek Hill could break it. George Pickens could break it. Calvin Ridley has the potential to break it. He was speaking because if you go 17 and add another 18th game season, people like Calvin Johnson, that's 2 extra games. 5,000 yards is kind of an anomaly right now, but you put 18 games in there, bada bing, bada boom, everybody's throwing 5,000 yards. Even shitty old Lamar Jackson is thrown for 5,000 yards in a season. So let me ask you guys this question. When we sit down and we think about it, is an 18-game NFL season likely to happen? Now, as fans, we want football. We want all competitive football that we can get, right? Hell, take out the preseason games and make me a 20 NFL game season, right? But at what point does the product start to get watered down? Why I stopped watching baseball from about July till about August, middle June till August, because it gets watered down, right? It's the same thing day after day after day. It's the same thing play after play after play. At what point does NFL start to get watered down? Is it 17 games? Is it 18 games? Is it 19? Is it 20? What is it? What is it? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. But first, we got to cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Yeah, hey, let's go. Hitting that gridiron, we going hard, we running the plays. You know the vibe, only the strong survive. Gotta keep your head in the game. Talking NFL, uncut, straight raw. Steady bringing that sauce. We about to take off, get it hype. This man, our sport talk. Yeah, from the quarterback to the lineman. Everybody bringing heat. You don't really wanna try them. Hey, who gon' win? It's a battle of the giants. This show is the flyest. Nobody can deny it. This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? This is Man Hour. Sport Talk. Man Hour. Sport Talk. What team you reppin'? We keep it interesting. Who caught another down? Who got that interception? Let's go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcusher here with the Man. I've been short over to manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page. Check out the blog section. But most importantly right now, if you are watching this show, wherever you're watching, whether it be Facebook.com, whether it be YouTube.com, or watching an after show here on the old Spotify, iTunes, or on the old Tiki-Talkie, hit the like button. Hit the like button right now. Share this with a couple friends because sharing is caring at the end of the day. And if you like some extra bonus footage, if you like some free merchandise, become a Pigskin Pundit. Click on the link below, become a Big Skin Pundit, and not next week, but the week after that, the first week of July, we'll be bringing back the pre-show, baby. So every day at 2 p.m. East Coast time, you got about a 15-20 minute pre-show before every show here. Then we go live at 2:30 until 4 o'clock. 2 hours of non-stop NFL talk. And this is the only place where you truly get live, raw, and uncut NFL talk. We are not bogged down by the man. We are not bogged down by the legend. And we're definitely not bogged down by Mr. Joe Biden. Let's just be honest. Mr. Poopy Bear himself cannot bog us down one bit. But today, guys, is June 20th, 2024, 2:35 here on the East Coast time. And we are going to be talking about the Detroit Lions. That's right, we got my man Luke G running a little behind, but we're going to slide him in here, and we are going to be talking about those Detroit Lions. Over the last couple of days, we've talked about the Raiders, we've talked about the Steelers, and today we talk about the Lions. But next week, we're going to start going by division by division by division. We're going to start out off with the Patriots with my man from the NFL expert, Mr. Wayne G. And then on Tuesday, we're going to talk to my man Carson Lang and talk about the Buffalo Bills. And then Wednesday and Thursday, we got the Jets and the Miami Dolphins all next week. And then, of course, we are off next Friday for the beautiful Dave Matthews concert up there in Indy. Me and the old lady get to go there every year, and that's our that is our anniversary gift to each other. But before we get too great, we got to welcome some people into this chat. And speaking of Pigskin Pundit, this man is the CFO of the Pigskin Pundits. This man makes me smile each and every day. This man rides a Harley around the block and then gets blown over by a tornado, and that is Mr. John Peoples. What is up, John? What is up? What is up? What is up? Hope you have a grand old day, John. Be safe up there, man. Everybody, if you're in like the East Coast, Midwest area, it is hot. It's like 95 degrees here in Louisville, Kentucky. I know up in the New England area where Hoffy's at, they're having record-breaking temperatures like 91, 92. John told me Michigan hit 91 the other day. So very unheard of around those areas hitting those temperature, guys. So be safe out there. Drink plenty of fluids. But this man, speaking of NFL experts, Mark is in the chat from one of the co-hosts from the NFL experts. What is up, Mark, guys? If you guys have not done so already, go over to the NFL experts. I believe they're on every Wednesday. Check them out right here on Facebook.com. Check them out. Tell them Man Hour sent you and talk shit about the Patriots and the Broncos because they both suck. And like I just said, like I told Mark, Broncos suck. And then he gives me the one finger salute and said the Chiefs. One finger salute to the Chiefs. Come on, man. And then, of course, I got to slap back, right? We got a 5-minute countdown for the show. I got some time to type on the old interwebs there. And I said, Broncos fans can count past one? Broncos fans can count past one? Come on now. Come on. And John, with the comment that has probably broke the internet already, this is the most asinine comment I have ever heard. Not only that the Raiders will be in the Super Bowl, but the Detroit Lions will be in the Super Bowl, and both at the same time. Slow it down, baby. Slow it down. Slow it down. But during the rant, we talked about a potential 18-game season, and John says, I'm not paying an alarm and a testicle to watch it, though. No, sirree. Listen, ticket prices, NFL Sunday ticket prices, they are pretty sky high. So, like most of the world, we're going to have to stick to free TV. A little bit of Fox, a little bit of CBS. But, hear me out. If you are a pigskin pundit, and if you want to watch the Raiders game, if you don't get it in your area, if you want to watch the Patriots game, you don't get it in your area. If you want to watch the Denver Broncos game, you don't get it in your area. If you're a pigskin pundit over here at Facebook.com, I'll air that game for you. I will air that game for you. Whatever game you like, we'll air it and we'll have a good time. We'll watch it together. We will watch it together. And it's John's birthday, guys. It is John's birthday. Wish my man John a happy birthday. This guy has officially turned 69 years old, and he's living the dream. living the dreams. And Mark says, I need to be on when you talk to Broncos. We'll be talking AFC West in 2 weeks. The week of July 4th, we will definitely be talking some AFC West. And Mark, when you are free, let's jump on and talk about your Denver Broncos. Got John in the chat again. John, good to see you back, man. I'm glad you are enjoying yourself. Come back for some more. He says, what's good, y'all? John, what up, though? Right? What up, though? John says, love the jersey, man. It's the Aiden Hutchinson jersey from last year, right? John, was it me and you that had the bet that you're like, hey, if the Detroit Lions beat the Chiefs week 1, you got to wear a jersey, like a Lions jersey all week? So I got myself an Aiden Hutchinson jersey, and honestly, the Hawaiian blue with the silver, should have got a black one, though, but hey, right, because real men wear black. Speaking of real men, Arthur Brown is in the chat. What's up, Arthur Brown? Long time no see. Hope you're being safe out on the road. We were just talking about the heat, man. Stay safe. My man's a professional driver, and he is out there burning up, I'm sure. That man's got the AC on blast, and the truck's still probably not cooling down. Be safe out there, Arthur. We be loving you, man. Hey, we're talking your Miami Dolphins next Wednesday, so be sure to tune in. Set that alarm, man, and we'll get that in there. John says, that jersey says it's all. Detroit versus everybody. Listen, I have been kind of high on the Detroit Lions the last couple years before last season when they kind of, quote, blew up, and I kind of like, whoa, slow it down, baby, right? Slow it down, which was kind of right, I guess, in a roundabout way. But at what point is it not Detroit versus everybody, right? Well, like at what point do the Detroit Lions start to get hated? Like the Kansas City Chiefs, like the Patriots, like the Miami Dolphins. At what point do the the Detroit Lions start to get hated? No more biting of kneecaps. No more getting right? At what point do we start to hate the Detroit Lions? I mean, because honestly, I don't think we're even close to that yet. This year we got him on Thanksgiving and one Thursday night game. The following week, we only got him on 2 Monday night games. They play the 49ers on Monday night, and then they play the Seahawks on Monday night. Like, I don't think, to answer my own question, I think we are far away from a Detroit Lions hate, right, for a very, very long time. Very, very far away. John says they just got better in the offseason and only getting better. And I actually wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk to my man Luke G about that. We've been kind of stalling long enough, but let's carry on with the show here, and we'll pop him in as soon as he gets an opportunity here. But at what point did the Detroit Lions get better this offseason? Yes, I know they drafted a couple cornerbacks in the first and second round, added some depth to the offensive line in rounds 4 and 6, added another defensive back in the fourth round. But at what point did the Detroit Lions get better this offseason? To be honest, I don't think they got better this offseason. Now, they're still a pretty good team. Don't get that twisted one bit. They're still a pretty good team. They signed Jared Goff to a nice extension, right? They still got David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, a nice 1-2 punch back in the backfield. They got St. Brown, Jameson Williams, right? Sam Laporta, and Donovan Peoples-Jones to kind of round out that receiving core. They lost old lineman that declared eligible, right? Was it Shipper, right? They lost him in free agency. They cut Cam Sutton because of a domestic battery issue, right? And they lost the other cornerback that they signed that only played like 3 games. His name's slipping my mind right now. Luke G would know that off the top of his head. He knows his Detroit Lions inside and out. But I don't think that the Detroit Lions got better this offseason. I'm going to be flat out honest about it. I don't think they got better this offseason. Now, the front 7 is still pretty gnarly, right? That front 7 is still pretty gnarly with Jack Campbell and Alex Alonso, right? Aiden Hutchinson, they signed that defensive end from the CFL. That front 7 is pretty gnarly. Back 4. Whoa. Carlton Davis is not bad. Brian Branch, looking forward to see a lot more from him. Right? But where did they get better? What big signing did they say, oh, that made them a Super Bowl caliber team? That pick put them over the San Francisco 49ers. That pick made them a 13-win team. What put them over the edge to improve, John? John People says, just hope they didn't pay too much for Jared Goff. Listen, we're going to speak very briefly on the whole quarterback situations across the NFL. Every quarterback besides like Mahomes, you can probably put Lamar Jackson up there. Really can't put Joe Burrow up there, but pretty much besides Mahomes, actually Patrick Mahomes, really, because Lamar Jackson needs all the help around him that like he can get. Every quarterback right now in the NFL is probably overpaid for. Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy's going to be overpaid for. Dak Prescott's going to be overpaid for. Derek Carr, right? Every quarterback out there right now is probably overpaid. Now, I'm not saying that those guys are not good and didn't earn their money or don't need that money, right? But the Detroit Lions have a lot of salary cap room to play with over the next 3 years. When Jared Goff got that deal, I was looking at the salary cap. They're not even close to the salary cap the next 3 years. Not even close. And they got some contracts that are going to be up. St. Brown's going to be up, right? Jameson Williams is going to be up, right? Jahmyr Gibbs. They got some contracts coming up, and they got some money to play with. So they had to sign Jared Goff basically now so they can restructure every year to bring in more players. But I think they did right by Jared Goff. Jared Goff is still pretty young. is a Super Bowl quarterback, been to the Super Bowl, and he's perfect for Detroit. John says the signing of Robertson, Davis, Reeder, Davenport, Bettis, and then their draft. The only signing that I really like is Davis, to be honest. That's really the only signing that was like, okay. When they added Carlton Davis to that roster, I like that because that filled that Cam Sutton void. And, man, what is the cornerback's name that played for the Eagles and then came to Gardner Johnson, right? That was a nice void to fill that, right? But the drafts, I was not really blown away by. But, of course, on the flip side, I was not blown away by the Detroit Lions draft last season, right? But Jahmyr Gibbs proved me wrong. Jahmyr Gibbs definitely stepped up and been doing his thing. Jay said, everything you said, they lost, they upgraded. Did they really upgrade, though? Is Carlton Davis III better than C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Is he? Is he? I'm smoking dope, bro. Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is going to find himself on the Denver Broncos come year 3. Hendon Hooker will not be on the Detroit Lions for very long. They are going to see a Trey Lance trade, 4th round, 5th round. Mark's the Detroit Lions or Mark's Denver Broncos are going to be all over that. Give them some Hendon Hooker, right? Mark says they got better by keeping their offensive coordinator. Yes, the keeping of Ben Johnson was a pretty good deal for the Detroit Lions. It was pretty good. It was so good, in fact, that Ben Johnson's like, you know what? I love it in Detroit. Sorry, Arizona. Sorry, Washington. Where else was he being interviewed? Was it Tennessee? Sorry, Tennessee. No. I'm going to stay right here in Detroit. I'm going to stay right here and grow with my man, Jared Goff. Mark, I think you are correct there. By keeping their offensive coordinator gives them a step up going into this offseason, right? John says the top 5 offense last year and the defense just turned up. Were they a top 5 offense last year? I did not know that. Jay Jillian's in the chat. What's up, Jay? Jay has been a top fan going on 11 weeks. Thank you, Jay, for all your support that you bring, even though you're a Detroit Lions fans, and we like to talk each other shit, but hey, it is what it is. He says Arnold and Rackstraw and Davis are the corners. Picked up, don't know how to say his name, Zittler, for the old line. So, unfortunately, the only film that I watched from the guys that the Detroit Lions drafted was the offensive lineman. Was Genovi Manu from the British Columbia, right? That is the only guy that I watched film on because I had no idea who he was. So Arnold, Rackstraw, Wingo, and Mahogany, don't know anything about those guys, unfortunately. And in minicamp and the OTA film that I watched, that I've seen, they did not really jump out on the tape at me. Like I had to look up their numbers to know who they were, right? So it is. We will see. Once preseason starts, we'll start getting some names and some faces and know how they move, and then we will see. And then Jim Powell, the CEO of the Pigskin Pundit, says nobody cares. It's the Lions. The Dallas Cowboys care. 49ers care. Eagles care. A lot of teams going to care about the Detroit Lions this season. And Jay said the only issue that they had was the secondary, and that was addressed. To be honest, I want to see the growth of Brian Branch. Right? Am I saying his name right? Brian Branch. He was that rookie that you guys drafted last year that pretty much only played on the nickel packages. Yeah, Brian Branch. If Brian Branch has taken leaps and bounds and kind of been the man, the myth, the legend that people are making him out to be, I think then your secondary will be addressed at that point. And then not to mention that we grabbed DJ Reader to help out Hutch. Yes, that I forgot about DJ Reader. That was a good pickup. And then he says, stop sleeping on Arnold and Rakestraw. That Rakestraw guy's from Missouri, isn't he? I have to watch some tape on him. Have to watch some tape on the old Rakestraw guy. But with all that being said, guys, let's jump into the slate of games of the 2024 NFL season for the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions had a pretty good last season, right? They made it to the NFC Championship, and if it wasn't for halftime, they probably would have won that NFC Championship. They got hot at the right time, and they stayed hot pretty much the whole season. Yes, they did have a couple down games. Was it the Baltimore Ravens game right last year that they just got shellacked? Was it that game? But either way, they finished the season 12-5 last season, and they ended up first in the NFC North, and I believe they got third in the playoffs. They beat the Los Angeles Rams in the first round of the wild card. Then they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the divisional championship game. In the conference championship game, they ultimately lost to the San Francisco 49ers 34-31. Just like I said, they added some key pieces, like you guys are saying here, Arnold and Rakestraw and DJ Reader, Brian Branch, second year under his like his belt. They are putting all the right pieces in the right spot. So when we look at the schedule, let's look at week 1. Week 1, they have a rematch of the wild card versus the LA Rams. Matthew Stafford comes back home. Matthew Stafford wants to finally beat his old team, and this is going to be a very, very good game. This reminds me a lot of the Detroit Lions Chiefs game last season, right? So much animosity. The Lions, golf versus the end. But I do think the Rams come on top. Jay thinks it's going to be a win for the Lions come week 1. Don Burr says, new to this channel, are you a Detroit Lions fan? We talk all NFL on this show. Many people deem I'm a Detroit Lions hater. I don't hate the Detroit Lions, but I don't really root for them either. So to say I'm a fan, no, but I am an NFL fan, Don. Hopefully that answers your question. We talk all NFL here, Monday through Friday, 2:30 East Coast time until 4 o'clock. So, of course, we got the members-only pre-show as well. But week 1, we do have the Rams coming into Detroit and beating them. Week 2, another rematch, a divisional championship rematch. Baker Mayfield comes into town. Speaking of overpaid quarterbacks, Baker Mayfield is not one of them. Baker Mayfield is going to be a top 10 quarterback again this season. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? Many people were sleeping on this team last season, and I said, watch out for them. All season long, I said, watch out for the Bucs, watch out for the Bucs, watch out for the Bucs. Nobody believed me, and I'm going to tell you again this season, watch out for the Bucs. And the Detroit Lions, unfortunately, they're going to come up and bite them in the ass. They're going to come up and bite them in the ass, and we're going to have an issue. The Detroit Lions are going to start 0-2. The Detroit Lions are going to start 0-2, and people are going to be like, oh, we still biting kneecaps? We still getting crunchy? We still getting, And John says Davis is going to rip Mayfield up. Davis is going to rip Mayfield up. This is the biggest thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If I remember correctly, if my mind serves me correct, Jensen is now retired. Of course, Jensen didn't play at all last season, but Jensen is a pretty good center. Was kind of that heart and soul of the team. Even though he wasn't on the field last year, you can definitely still, they have that dirty isms in them, right, on that offensive line. I'm curious if that translates over to the offensive line this season. That would be the biggest issue for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this season. But I do have them going 0-2. Don does not agree. 2 home games, 2 losses. People are starting to panic. People are starting to worry. They travel to Arizona come week 3. They travel to Arizona where they, I feel like every time they travel to Arizona, they have a rough time playing Arizona. In Arizona. And I don't know if it's any historical fact on it, but it seems like every time I remember the Detroit Lions going to Arizona, they play bad. Not this year. Not this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. with the big white lips that he has there, he reminds me of old Dave Chappelle when he does the coke and his lips are all white, right? That's what Harrison Jr. reminds me of. But Jamar Gibbs goes off in this game. If you are a fantasy owner and you have Jamar Gibbs on your roster come week 3, week 1, week 2, you're like, I'm probably going to bench this guy. Jamar Gibbs finds his footing week 3. Jamar Gibbs rushed for 150, 160 yards on 20 touches. Probably 3 touchdowns. The Detroit Lions flexed on a bad Arizona Cardinals team. They're not looking good, and people are starting to like, okay, this is the Detroit Lions that we know. This is the Detroit Lions that we love, right? I think they're going to whoop some ass. Whoop some ass. Lester White's in the chat. What's up, Lester? He says, Aaron Donald doesn't play for the Rams anymore. DJ Reader now plays for the Detroit Lions in L.A. Win and home is opener is not probable. We shall see. We shall see come week 1. We got what? 80-some days like away. Then we got the first Monday night game for the Detroit Lions of the 2024 NFL season. And this Monday night game, I believe is like a doubleheader game too, right? So it's going to be this one will be the early one. But the Seahawks come into town. Seahawks come into town. I think the last time the Seahawks came in to Detroit, the Seahawks won. I believe it was an overtime game, if I'm not mistaken. But Detroit Lions are going to build off that momentum from week 3 win. They're going to keep running the ball over and over and over again. I don't care if the Seahawks have the Legion of Boom out there. They're not going to stop Gibbs in this game, and they're not going to stop, what's the other one? Montgomery. It's going to be a 2-headed monster all game long, and the Detroit Lions get their second win of the season. Starting the season off 2-2. 2-2. Lester White says Tampa's running game struggles. They'll be one-dimensional against the improved Lions pass defense. We shall see. This is this week 3 game. Sorry, the week 2 game versus the Bucks. This is the game that I'm going to be watching. I want to watch this game a lot. Jay Jillian says looks like might start anywhere from 8-0 to 10-0. Very good possibility, but this is the biggest to the Detroit Lions this season. The stab to the heart and the twisting of the knife is the week 5 bye week. The week 5 bye week for the Detroit Lions is tough. It is tough because it is so early in the season. Any teams that have like a week 4, 5, or 6 bye week, they are like, really? Really? Yeah, I like having a bye week, but I don't want it like first half of the season. Give me like week 10, 11, 12, 13, something. This might come back and haunt them in the end. Week 5 bye week, giving us a week 6 matchup. A rematch of the old I'm eligible game, right? The rematch of the Cowboys cheated. The rematch of the Detroit Lions taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Detroit Lions have had a pretty favorable schedule at this point. 2 hard road games, 3 home games, 1 road game. Kind of like, hey, you know what? We're doing all right. But then the Cowboys. Then you come down to the Cowboys. The Cowboys are a team that's probably rolling at this point, right? The Dallas Cowboys always seem to roll about 6, 7, 8 games off in a row. First part of the season, throwing 400, 500 yards. But I like the Detroit Lions in this game. I think they will go down to Dallas, and I think they will shut down CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott and whoever running back that they might have at that particular time in the Dallas Cowboys backfield. I think the Detroit Lions walk in there with a chip on the shoulder with something to prove. They might be overlooking the next game, or not overlooking this game, I should say, but whatever. They beat the Dallas Cowboys. They win. John says last year was week 6 bye week for the Detroit Lions. I still don't like it. It was a cheat. Lester White says the bye week placement is tough, but they only play 3 outdoor games all season. Yes, I did notice that. I did notice that they play a lot of indoor games. When you elevate the Lions, you have to take into consideration the best offensive line in the league. Yes. They are one of the top offensive lines in the league behind the Denver Broncos, stat-wise, right? But week 6 had them beating the Dallas Cowboys. Give us a week 7 matchup. First divisional opponent of the season. Back-to-back road games versus the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, the Minnesota Vikings are like, I don't know what to do with my hands. The Minnesota Vikings are a team like, they are probably more than likely switching quarterbacks every week, every series, every quarter. They don't know what to do with their hands. And week 7 is a prime example of this because they're going to start every quarterback that they have on the roster. Hell, they might even call Josh Dobbs back and Ashnot, come save us. The Detroit Lions beat down the Minnesota Vikings in week 7. It is an ugly game. It is so ugly that we might see Hendon Hooker in this game. That's how ugly I think this game is going to be, especially at Minnesota. Give us a week 8 matchup. Tennessee Titans come home. Got a homecoming game for the Detroit Lions. Been on the road the last 2 weeks. Finally get home to the Tennessee Titans. This game is kind of a trap game. This game, if I'm a Detroit Lions fan, has me nervous. Because I think the Detroit Lions are a much improved team. Sorry, the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are a much improved team. They picked up L'Jarius Sneed this offseason to kind of add to that secondary and the defense there to compete with all the young receivers in the AFC. Will Levis is finally going to be the starter, full offseason, and kind of got the keys to the kingdom. New coach, nice two-headed monster, and the running back not solely relying on Derrick Henry and that receiver core. That receiver core should scare a lot of secondaries. But with that being said, I do think the Detroit Lions rattle off their 5th straight win. Their 5th straight win in this young season in week 8 over the Tennessee Titans. I think it is a close one. I think it is a close game. 27-24 type of score. Last second field goal, maybe a last second sack to end the game. It's going to be a really, really good game. But the Detroit Lions have rattled off 5 straight wins over the Cardinals, Seahawks, Cowboys, Vikings, and the Tennessee Titans. Jay says the Lions equal Lombardi this series. Ain't nobody going to stop that offense. That running game and defense is so good, it's going to surprise a lot of people. John agrees with Jay. And Jay says needs to be tested for roids. Think roids. 5 wins in a row. Give us the week 9 matchup. Speaking of Lombardi, travel to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers. Luke G says he is backstage. Well, let's get him pulled up here. Sorry, Luke, I had you have the screen clicked off. But week 9. Travel to Green Bay to take on the Green Bay Packers. This is a Green Bay Packers team that many people were, quote, shocked by last season. If you listened to my show, I told you the Green Bay Packers were going to be bad at the beginning and then good in the end, right? There we go, Luke. See if I can add you. For some reason, Luke. Let me send you a new new link, Luke. So check your Twitter. Send you a new link. But the Green Bay Packers guys are a team that you need to be worried about. The Green Bay Packers are a team that they're not going to shock anybody because we kind of know what to expect of them now. But at the same time, we're going to be like, hey, these guys are the real deal. And I think after 5 straight wins over the Cardinals, over the Seahawks, over the Cowboys, Vikings, Titans, the Lions are kind of due for a loss. And I think they go into Lambeau and they kind of just get smacked in the mouth. They're kind of riding high. They're riding like, hey, we are them. And unfortunately, they're not going to be them in this game. And I think that they lose this game. So let's get my man Luke G added in here. Luke, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you fine, man. So we're on week 9. We've been talking about the Detroit Lions season breakdown. And I actually have the Lions winning 5 games in a row at this point and getting their third loss of the season to the Green Bay Packers in this week 9 matchup. Well, what do you think about them losing to or do you think they'll lose to the Packers at all this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Packers is going to be a team that's going to play us tough. They know how we play, and they have a weapon that can be a bit of a kryptonite for what we do. But what we can do is, if you don't mind, run back through the schedule. I'll tell you win, loss, and that'll get us caught up.
Okay, sure. We got week 1. We got the LA Rams coming into town. I have them losing this game. That's a win for you.
You have them losing the game against the Rams?
Yeah, Stafford coming in hot. Come on now, don't be sleeping on him.
On the road though, he's coming in on the road.
Exactly.
Kansas City didn't even beat us on the road, and you know that.
I'm just saying. What? No. This is a home game. You guys play the Rams at home.
That's what I'm saying. That's the thing. Like we went to Kansas City and beat them. We're going to be at home on a season where they increased ticket prices like significantly, and they still sold out. We ain't losing that game.
We'll see. Week 2.
Okay.
Broncos coming, or sorry, the Buccaneers coming to a town.
Win.
2-0 for you, huh? Week 3, travel out west to take on the Cardinals.
Win.
I do agree with on that one. Week 4, Seahawks, Monday Night Football, coming to town.
This one was a little bit hard because this is a trap game for me with them adding Sam Howell. But I'm going to argue that this is a win because Pete Carroll's not there no more.
Yeah. I am really curious about the Seahawks head coach situation. Week 5, it is a bye week. Week 6, travel down to Arlington to take on the Dallas Cowboys.
Win. We got to get that get back for that horrible call.
If you like, I don't know if you can see me or not, but I got my Hadrian Hutchinson jersey, and I'm telling you that I am eligible. So just to let you know. Week 7, you travel to Minnesota, take on the Vikings.
Win.
Another. You have them 6-0 so far this season. Okay. Week number 8, Tennessee Titans come into town. Speaking of trap games, I said this was a trap game.
That's definitely a trap game. I don't know which quarterback I'm going to get and stuff like that, so that's going to be the important part. But if I was a betting man, I will argue that is probably more than likely going to be a loss. I think they get a hot start and they drop this one.
Yeah, and I actually have them winning this one, giving their 5th straight win of the season. And then, of course, we're back at week 9 here when they travel to Green Bay, Wisconsin to take on the Packers.
Yeah, I think that's a loss.
You think that's a loss? Me as well.
Yeah, I think that's a loss.
All right, so
I feel like we should win the early games.
So that moves us to week 10, another road game, another tough road game. CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans. I think the Texans are going to kind of come back down to reality like a little bit here. You know, not being a playoff team, still might be an 8-9 win team, of course. But I actually have the Houston Texans beating the Detroit Lions in this game in Houston.
I do too. They got too many weapons, and I'm still not sold on some of the things that the Lions got going on, particularly the linebacking core and their ability to stop mobile quarterbacks.
So, speaking of defensive line, earlier in the show here, we were talking about the addition of the defensive line that the Lions had. They signed the CFL kid, and they signed DJ Reader as well. How big of additions do you think those are to the Lions?
You know what? I've watched the Lions long enough to know that you can't buy into the name. If Betts come into to our team and perform the same way he did in CFL, then we're good, right? Like, he ain't even got to get 18 sacks, but if he can get 10 to 11, that's going to be a huge pickup for us. DJ Reader is a run stopper. I know he's had moments where he's played the pass at times, but for me personally, I think it's going to really boil down to the play of the secondary complementing what they're doing up front and the linebackers' ability to keep their gaps. So for me, I know most Lions fans are going to say these are big signings and stuff, but for me, it's just like, I don't see where it moves the needle for me.
Right. And I was kind of on that boat, but like we have people like John and Jay in the chat here, and they were very, very, very high on those signings this season. So if you guys are just joining us, we are talking to Luke G from Luke G Field Review over there at youtube.com. Be sure to check him out. He is hands down the best Detroit Lions show out there, interactive with the chat, with the chat and fans all the time. He brings you on. He gives you a platform to speak your mind. But remember, Luke G is the biggest ketchup hater in the world. So always talk about ketchup when you're
That's
out.
Right. No ketchup over here.
No ketchup. Speaking of comments, John jumping in the chat here. John says, young and talented team, but too much hype over love. Let's see if they can continue, meaning the Green Bay Packers.
Well, you got to remember, though, that same guy that they're putting that hype for came in and beat the Lions and probably would have got another win had he not had some mishaps. Right. But even in the game that he had the playoff, he would have, if he don't throw that interception, yeah. But I think the addition of Jacobs is a good pickup, and I think that linebacker core that they increased that part too. So and adding a more versatile safety in what's his name, McKinney.
Yep.
I think those are all good pickups.
I think the Packers might be the best team in the NFC North, to be honest with you.
Now that part where we disagree.
Are you picking the Bears?
I'm picking. I'm certainly not picking the Bears, but I definitely think the Lions are the best team in the NFC North.
Yeah, the Lions are definitely a very solid team out out there. But let's move on to our Week 11 matchup here. This is a game that's kind of intriguing for me as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars come into town. Trevor Lawrence just signed that big deal, but the Jaguars team as a whole doesn't seem as strong on paper as they once was. Week 11 thoughts, Luke?
The Jacksonville Jaguars is another one of those trap games. I think they match up really well with us. I think that they've added some elements to them. But if it's one thing I know about Jacksonville is they have the most how can I word it? They've had the most opportunistic moments to lose games where they shouldn't, and I see this as a loss for them. I think they take an L big time here.
The Jaguars,
but don't get me wrong, it can be a close game.
So you are picking the Lions to win this game, correct?
I'm picking the Lions to win this game.
Okay, yeah, I'm picking the Lions to win this game as well. And as Jim Powell says, Trevor Lawrence wins this game. But I think the Lions do win by a nose. And I think it's a low-scoring game, like 14-13. I'm thinking just a really, really low defensive slugfest game. So I don't know why, but for some reason the Jaguars, I think their defense is going to be much improved this season. Giving us a Week 12 matchup, we're going to rattle off 3 AFC South teams in a row here, and we travel to Indianapolis, and I will be at this game. The Lions take on the Colts in Week 12. What are your thoughts on this game?
All right, so this is the thing. We should win this game, but I'm concerned because they have a really, really mobile quarterback. Like, I'm giving us a win, but I'm praying that Anthony Richardson is not healthy for this game.
Are you that scared of a mobile guy, or do you just think he's that good a quarterback?
I am. I'm terrified of. You got to remember, I watched the Lions in the NFC Championship game let Brock Purdy look like Michael Vick.
True.
So that wasn't hype.
So I can tell you in this game, I will be wearing my Detroit Lions jersey at this game. I'll be rocking the Aiden Hutchinson one eye black line across his face, right? I'll be wearing his jersey, and I'll be rooting for the Detroit Lions in this game. And I honestly think that they're just going to go in there and wax that ass. I think after this little gauntlet of a schedule that they've had so far, they bounce back yet again, and they start flexing on the NFL, showing that they are the real deal. And I think the Lions go in there, and they show him. They show the Colts, they show Richardson, they show JT or whoever's running the ball that the Lions are the real deal in this game.
I don't disagree with you on that part. I expect us to win the game, but I am definitely concerned about the Russian attack of any mobile quarterback we're going to face.
So you're
that is a genuine concern for me.
So you have concerns versus Kyler Murray and CJ Stroud and Josh Allen and all those guys?
do.
Okay. Because
but I picked them to win because there are other aspects of their game that's not going to be present. See, with the Colts, they at least got a running back that can run the ball, and Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
And their defense is going to be the question mark for them. So I'm giving it a win that I think we can expose their defense, but I feel like if it turns into a shootout and the quarterback is able to run, we're going to have a problem.
Yeah, only time will tell about how good or how bad the Colts will be in 2024. We'll be breaking them down in about 3 weeks here. But this takes us to Thanksgiving. 4 days of rest, back at home, taking on the old mighty Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have had a pretty good offseason. I think they nailed the draft. They got better at wide receiver and defense. This offseason the Chicago Bears had was probably the best one in recent memory that I think they have ever had. Week 13 at home, 4 days rest, Thanksgiving, 11 a.m. kickoff. Luke, what are your thoughts about this Thanksgiving game?
I think the Bears absolutely get better, but this is a game where Detroit Lions fans should be excited to get a Thanksgiving Day win. It's been a long time, and we will be redeeming that ticket this year. But I think we're going to definitely get the win on this game. Is it going to be easy? No. But do I believe that we're going to come out on top? Yes, we are.
Luke, I'm going to hold my thoughts for this game because I don't want to upset you. Wait, yes, I do. The Chicago Bears are going to come into Ford Field, and they're probably going to wax that ass. Caleb Williams is going to go off in this game. Now, I think the Chicago Bears got a lot better, right? But they do have an easy schedule kind of this season, right? They do have that fourth place schedule. With that being said, they might be really good record-wise coming into this game, and wins in the NFL are hard to come by. And I think the Bears are going to have that momentum coming into this game, and 4 days rest on a young team like the Chicago Bears. Yeah, it is what it is, but the Detroit Lions are a little bit older. Now, I'm not saying they're the oldest team in the NFL. If I remember correctly, they're like the 8th youngest team in the NFL. But I like the Bears in this Thanksgiving game, and it's going to be a must-watch TV game because both of these teams might be battling for the NFC North crown, and this game might decide it.
Let me ask you a question. How many days of rest do the Bears have before they play the Lions?
4.
All right, and the Lions got 4 days, right?
What's that?
The Lions got 4 days as well, right?
Correct.
Do you know who the Bears played before they played the Lions?
I did not look that up. I don't have the Bears schedule in front of me.
Okay, but you know who the Lions played before we played them?
Right, the Colts.
Okay, if you look up the matchup, the Bears are going to come off a harder matchup than the Lions are coming off of, and then they're coming into hostile environment again in a season where ticket prices have damn near doubled, and it's still sold out. I have them with a record that's already winning. This we showed up for last year Thanksgiving game, and it was nuts, like absolutely nuts. I think that the Lions are not only going to win this game, I believe that the Bears are going to come out and have to rethink how they're going to play them when it comes later on that season.
Those are some tough words here. So I actually just looked up the Bears schedule. They played the terrible Minnesota Vikings the week before at home.
It's a division game.
True. I will give you that.
Yeah.
I might reconsider that, but probably not. I do like the Bears in this game, unfortunately. Give us the Week 14 matchup, another Thursday night game, back at home again. Of course, this week they have a full week's rest, and they play the Green Bay Packers. Thursday night game, Week 14. Who do you got?
The Lions. We're splitting with them. They're not getting them all.
Yeah.
But we're splitting with them. I think we split with them. And in this game, we come out a little bit more polished because we're going to have more time off to, prepare and things like that. And I think at that point, we should be hitting our stride.
Yeah, you are 100% correct on this. And you spoke on how the Bears play a division game, a tougher opponent before the Thanksgiving game. The reason why I gave the Detroit Lions this game was because the Packers play Sunday Night Football at home versus the Miami Dolphins. So not only do they have short rest, right, the 4 days rest, I think it's 5 days. I think they play Saturday, if I'm not mistaken, actually. But it's still shorter rest versus a really good Miami Dolphins team.
Yeah.
So, Luke, Mark from the NFL Experts chimes in, and he says, just because the season tickets cost more doesn't equal more wins.
I don't believe that because season tickets cost more equals more wins. If you took that from that, then I need you to listen a little bit different. I'm talking about the atmosphere of the stadium based on that. The ticket prices were much cheaper last year, and we had a lot of sold-out games that broke a lot of records. If you don't believe me, just look at the record we broke for the draft bin here. You had the draft here, and we set the record for 2 or 3 days all of the draft. And it's because the excitement for this team is went nuts. They're excited. We've been hungry for a winning team with a competent GM. So when I bring up the ticket sales prices, I'm trying to make it be known to the person who's listening that, hey, our fan base don't care about the prices. They are having high expectations. Yep. And guess what? When people come into our stadiums, it is a hostile environment. It is not the same old Lions where you show up and there's a few guys there who just came to drink.
Yeah, and just to kind of piggyback on that point, yes, the ticket prices are going up. So, let's say Major League Baseball game, right? On a Tuesday afternoon, you go to a game, you get a $5 ticket, right? You are there for the atmosphere and kind of just hanging out. And if you leave early, you leave early. But now when you're paying $200, $300, $400 a ticket, you are a little bit more invested into said game. You are going to cheer a little bit louder. You are going to, put a little bit more effort in coming early, staying late, right? It is just the nature of the beast. Like, it's just like when you buy a phone, right? Back in the day, a flip phone, $20, right? You throw that thing all over the phone, right? Like whatever. Oh, mad at them, smack the phone down. Now you got an iPhone that's $1,000. You're like, now you got a screen protector on it. You got a case.
Yep, you got a case.
Yeah, you just take a little bit more pride and like a little bit more care about it. And John says the Detroit Lions were also filling the road game arenas.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can go through so many games from Green Bay Kansas City. They showed up in force for the 49ers game. They made a lot of road games, home games for the team.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. When you have a team that's winning, I'm not just looking at this and say, oh, the ticket price went up, so they're going to win. I'm looking at it and I'm telling you, like, hey, I've been in the stadium when we sucked. I've been in that stadium when we were winning. And I can tell you, I'm old enough to tell you that I witnessed the 1991 run to the NFC Championship game. And I'm telling you, it was louder now than it was then.
Think about that. Put that into perspective. So week 14, we both had the Lions winning this particular game. Give us a week 15 matchup, another home game versus I want to say a measuring stick opponent, because the Buffalo Bills seem to kind of be the measuring stick of the NFL. And I did a little bit of fact checking here, and teams that beat the Buffalo Bills week 15 or later go to the Super Bowl, Luke G. So we have a week 15 versus the Buffalo Bills. What are you thinking?
So really, I had this as a loss when I first saw the schedule. I changed it after I saw all the moves that they made within their organization in terms of their receiving core, the running back room, and I started getting more and more confident. And I believe that the Lions will win this game. I know Josh Ellis likes to run, but I think he's going to be running not because they're running the ball, but because it's a necessity.
Right.
I just don't see his receivers being able to help him out, especially this late in the season. And they're coming again to a hostile environment where he's not going to be able to hear certain things and communicate certain things. So I have us winning this game in week 15. Again, it could be a trap game, sure, but for me, we should win this game.
Yeah, and you also have 10 days rest, right? After a week 5 bye, 10 weeks, right? Played, short rest, played another week. Now you finally get a 10 days rest, coming in healthy, going into week 15. I do think the Detroit Lions beat the Buffalo Bills. And Lester White makes a comment saying, I don't think you realize how good the Detroit Lions are. Your predictions are based off other teams. This team is 22-8 since midseason of 2022, with rookie Pro Bowlers and 5 offensive linemen all ranked in the top 50. Lester, I'm not saying that the Detroit Lions are bad. I think the Detroit Lions are a very, very good team. I think Dan Campbell and the boys put together their puzzle, and it is put together. I think the Lions are a good team, but you do have to base it off other teams, right? You do. I mean, they're not playing themselves. They are playing.
Exactly. It's a matchup game.
Say that again, Luke G. I'm sorry.
It's a matchup game.
Right.
You're going out there trying to create a mismatch within their team, and they're trying to create a mismatch within yours. And I'm a Lions fan, but I'm realistic. I'm not no casual Lions fan where I just assume that we're winning every single thing every year, undefeated, 16-0, 17-0, 18-0, who's Mizada, lock it in. I'm not that person. I think when you look at these games, you have to account at what the other teams did, because that's exactly how you're going to go about attacking them and defending yourself, right? So I think it's fair to say, hey, yeah, we can talk about our offensive line being top 15 and stuff like that. We can talk about that. But our quarterback, is not infallible. He's held onto the ball. I heard a lot of the same talk when we added Cam Sutton, and I was one of the few people to say he's a nickel corner, but whatever. And now all of a sudden, everybody get rid of Cam Sutton.
Yeah,
I just, again, they have to still play the game, and it's proof in the pudding that the best team don't always win.
Right. I mean, that is what's so great about the NFL is literally any given Sunday, somebody can win. And this is why I love talking to you, Luke, is because you seem to be the most level-headed, realistic Lions fan out there, hands down. So guys, we are talking to Luke G from Luke G's Field Review over there on youtube.com. Be sure to give him some subscribe and give him a follow. He puts out great content. He's a live interactive show. He invites you on, gives you a platform to defend yourself, but Luke G will make you defend yourself. It is very, very great time over there. But moving on to week 16, we have a rematch of the Thanksgiving Day game, but this time at Chicago. The Detroit Lions travel to the Chicago Bears. What's going on this game, Luke?
I got us losing. It's gonna be cold as hell there, and I've seen what we look like in the cold. I've seen it with the Panthers. I've seen it with Green Bay. When it's cold outside, we do not perform well. It's not in our favor. I think it's going to be cold that day. I think that Chicago gets that win. We split. But if we get the win, even better. But yeah, I don't. I got to take an L right here.
Yeah, I believe it was John that said earlier that the Detroit Lions only play 3 outdoor games all season long. This being one of them in December, Week 16 versus the Chicago Bears. That is going to be tough. But I think the Lions do pull this one out, kind of a revenge loss from Thanksgiving. We do think they're both splitting, so we'll see. John asks, what is Luke G's side again? If you go to youtube.com and search Luke G's field review, it'll pull it right up, and I also have it linked in the description as here as well. So giving us the last 2 games of the season, the second Monday night matchup of the season, going down to Santa Clara to take on the 49ers, a rematch of a painful NFC game, championship game for you in the second half. Luke G, do the 49ers get some revenge?
Do the Lions get revenge?
Yeah.
Nah. I think we lose this game, and I think it's for different reasons. I think at this point we already have the division locked up. We in the playoffs. No need to stress it at this point. So I'm going to argue that they're going to show up because they're going to be fighting for their lives, in my opinion. So yeah, I think we take an L here though because we don't want to show them too much because we're going to have to play them again probably in the playoffs.
Yeah, and that is a play out of Bill Belichick's playbook is when you have an opportunity or when you're playing an opponent late in the season and you're probably going to play them in the first, second, third round of the playoffs, you kind of want to give a vanilla offense, a vanilla defense, come out healthy on the other side. It doesn't matter how much you win or how much you lose by. It doesn't really matter. And I'm on the same boat with you. I think the 49ers at this point are probably they're battling for a playoff spot. I like at this point. I think Brock Purdy and the boys kind of come way back down to reality, and so they got to give it their all. And that gives a Week 18 matchup. The Vikings come into town. Are you kind of echoing what you said Week 17 there about the division's already locked up and this game doesn't really matter?
Yeah, I think the division is locked up, but I also believe that our backups can beat their starters. I'm not a big fan of J.J. McCarthy. I know he played at Michigan, but he don't scare me.
Right.
Jefferson, he gonna do his thing. He just is who he is. There's nothing about it. But we're not risking injuries and other things when we already got it locked up and we already gonna have our position locked up. So I got us still winning even if we put the backups in.
Yeah, I have them beating the Vikings as well. I actually think Hendon Hooker gets to start in this game just to save face for Jared Goff and the rest of the starters out there. I think Hendon Hooker gets his feet wet and he looks well, right? And been like, hey, we got ourselves a pretty good backup quarterback. And as much hype as there around J.J. McCarthy, I don't think he is going to be the man. I don't think he is going to be very, very good. And I think Hayden Hutchinson sacks his former teammate a lot in this game. But ultimately, I have the Lions going 11-6 this season with losses to the Rams, Bucks, Packers, Texans, Bears, and 49ers. What was your overall record?
I had them at. I thought I had it. I could have sworn I scored it at 12-5, with a possible 13-4. Because there's the 2 trap games that I look at that Jacksonville and the Coast game. I think are a trap game. So I got them at 12-5 for our record.
Gotcha. So I mean, we're pretty close. We are like I feel like really the only games that we kind of really argue about are the first 2 games of the season. I actually do have the Lions starting season off 0-2 with losses versus the Rams and Bucks, both at home, both venging their playoff losses to the Lions. And you have them starting what, like 7-0, 8-0, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. All righty.
But you got to remember, I'm looking at this. You talking about a team having to come to Detroit. The Rams played us tough last time, right?
Right.
And in the playoffs. And the argument to become, did they get better? Sure. But they lost one key factor that I think changes everything, and that is one Aaron Donald.
Right.
I'm not worried about Turner. Turner without Aaron Donald gonna still play well. I'm so sure of it, but it's not the same like with Aaron Donald. You know, so we're gonna be able to run the ball now. The Buccaneers played us somewhat tough, and I'm a Bucs fan too, on top of being a Lions fan. But did they get better in a way to where they can compete with the Lions? No, I don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, only time will tell. It is still early. It is still June. We still got some more camp stuff to do. We got preseason games to happen still. There's still a lot of time for teams to grow and gel and improve themselves. But Luke G, before we let you go, tell the people a little about your show. I've been hyping it up. I love your show. I love watching it. I love interacting with it. But let the people know about your show.
Yeah, I mean, it's called Luke G's Fair Review, where we talk all things about the Detroit Lions. I'm in the off season with them at this point, so you're not going to see too many videos right now, but I'm back as soon as we get closer to our training camp. And my show is about going live and being for the people. Whether you agree or disagree with me, my platform lets you come on and have a respectful disagreement and tell me I'm crazy, tell me I'm out of line. But make sure you come with your facts. Because I'm gonna come with mine and we're gonna have a good conversation. Also, I track everything from salary cap to draft picks to game by game breakdowns. I'm all for the people, and each show starts off with a positive message for hope and ends with a positive message for growth. So, you know, that's what I'm about over there, and that's what we do.
Yeah, I definitely enjoy your show, and I think you have gained a fan here in John. He says he definitely looks forward to seeing your show. So, John, I'll be sure to post that link on our Facebook page and link to it. So be sure to go over there and subscribe to his channel. Yeah, Luke, as always, thank you for joining us, man. I look forward to jumping on your show here once the season starts. Too bad the Chiefs and the Lions don't play again this season, because I feel like we would have a very healthy discussion about that game.
You should be happy that the Lions and Chiefs didn't play the Super Bowl. You would have had a different discussion.
No, we wouldn't.
Because they would have definitely beat y'all. They would have did what the 49ers did.
You mean the coach not knowing the rules? Yeah.
Hey, again, they would have did what they They would have did what they did.
Yeah, I feel you, man. All right, man. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. All right, man?
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
Any time from my man Luke G. All right, guys. So that is Luke G from Luke G's Field Review. Be sure to check out his YouTube channel. Like I said, I love his show. Interacts with him. He actually reached out to me a couple years ago. Said, "Hey, I saw you talk about the Lions. Come on." And we built that relationship ever since. And definitely enjoy what he does and what he does for the podcasting community. But guys, that is going to be it for today's show. This will be the last show of the week. Tomorrow we're traveling to Kansas. My sister's having a baby. Have a little baby shower, spend time with the fam. And next week we're talking AFC East. Starting off with my man Wayne G from the NFL Experts Show there on Monday, talking to New England Patriots. But until then, we out.